In today's automation, I'm going to show you how to create a single switch that controls many switches. If you look at the bottom, you see under All Lights, I have an All Light switch. All right, to this group, I'm going to add all of the lights that I want to control. So I'm going to hit the three dots at the top, and I'm going to select Bring Devices from Other Rooms from the list. And in here, I'm going to go down through, and I'm just going to select all the lights that I have. So starting out in the garage bench lights. In the kitchen, I'm going to select the kitchen lights. In the living room, I'm going to select the living room lamp, the tree lights, and the living room Christmas lights. On the porch, I'm going to select the porch lights. In the family room, I'm going to select the family room ceiling lights, wall lights, desk lamp. In the bedroom lamp. In the bathroom, mirror lights and bathroom fan light. In the basement, I'm going to select the utility light. In the studio, I'm going to select studio lights. Actually, that controls both studio lights 1 and 2 using this same smart app that I'm going to show you. And then I think that's it. So we'll hit move at the bottom of the list and confirm that I want to move all those. Now all those lights are now in this group. Now one thing I want you to note about this is some of the lights are on, most of them are off. I'm in the family room right now, so the family room ceiling lights, wall lights, and the family room desk lamp is on. Kitchen lights, everything else looks to be off. Okay, you notice that my switch is currently off, the all light switch up in the upper left hand corner there. I'm going to go ahead and hit the power on button, and you'll watch all these lights in this group, which are all the lights in my house, are now on. It took the porch light a little bit to come on, but all lights are now on. Okay, so now I want to show you when I hit the all light switch to the off state, all these lights will now go off. The family room lights are on a dimmer, so it takes them a little longer to respond, but now all lights are off. So it's a pretty cool, and where I see this to be used in an application is, say for instance at night when you go to bed and you're wondering whether you turned all the lights off in your home, you can hit this one all light switch and turn them off. I'm going to show you how to get that set up. That's up next. Okay, let me get into how this is set up, how you can control many switches with just one switch. This is actually done with a smart app, and the smart app is called Trend Setter. So if you go into smart apps and you look for Trend Setter, you're not going to find it in your list of smart apps. You can try to add it, and it would be under Custom Smart Apps, and it's not going to be in that list either. The easiest way to install this is through the SmartThings community installer. So I'm going to go back out, and here is, you'll see at the very top of the list is the SmartThings community installer. Now if you haven't installed this yet, I have a full video that shows you how to get this set up, and I really recommend that if you haven't done this yet, you go ahead and set this up. It makes installing these types of smart apps very simple. So going into the community installer, you go down to the bottom where it says Installer Home. Click on that, and then it's going to load all the available smart apps and utilities that are available through the community installer. Once that's loaded, we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the list, and you're going to see Trend Setter here at the bottom. There it is. So to install Trend Setter, we just click on it. Here is the GitHub details. If you're into installing these manually, you can get the repo name, the branch, and the owner. So these are all the smart apps. There's 2 smart apps that are going to be installed, and there's many devices that are going to be installed. So when you have the community installer, it's as easy as hitting the install button. So we'll hit that, and here you see it's going to do the authentication, the GitHub integration, and it's going to install all of those smart apps and also those devices that you need to run this smart app. So we'll just wait here and let it do its job. All right, you get confirmation that the install process is completed, and all this information then has been installed for you. At that point, you can go up to the top and hit done. All right, and hit done again. Okay, now you're in your smart app list, but you're going to see that the Trendsetter app is not in there. We still have to take another step, and to add this, you hit the plus sign at the top, and we're going to go down to the custom apps, and you'll see Trendsetter in that list. And there it is. And to add it to your list, you just tap on it and hit done. Now when we look in our smart app list, you'll see Trendsetters in there, and it's installed and ready to go. Now to set up this all lights automation, well, first we got to select the device type. So there's several device types in here which will allow you to control a group of dimmers, a group of switches. If you have colored lights or lights that have the ability to change colors, you can cause the lights to be controlled as a group. So say for instance you have a room with several sets of lights and you want them all to be able to be controlled by one switch, where you can make them all blue or all green. That's a good way to control a group of lights. Power meter simply displays the power of the device selected, which you can actually see in the device settings if it has that capability to track power, so not sure the usefulness of that. The contact sensor might be handy because you could select all your contacts that you have on your doors, and then rather than when creating automations selecting each individual contact sensor, you can just add the contact sensor group, so that if any contact sensor is activated, then you can use the automation to create an action. So I'm going to hit switch because we're going to create a light switch that controls many. Hit done. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is put a group name in here, and I'm going to call this all lights switch. We're just going to copy that because we need to include a name for the switch that's going to show up in your app. So we'll go ahead and paste that in there. So all light switch, and then here's where you select the switches that you want included in the group. So I'm just going to basically go down through here and select all of my lights. Let's see, the family room desk lamp, family room wall lights, bench lights, kitchen lights, living room Christmas lights, living room lamp, porch lights, studio lights 1 and 2, tree lights, and my virtual utility light switch. I think I've got everything in there. All right, so I have 14 switches selected. I hit done and done again. And that's all it is needed to set this up. As you can see, it's also transferred that switch over to my app in case I want to use that in a routine. And while we're in here, I'm going to create a second group. And you saw that I have studio lights, and I'm going to create another switch for those. And I'm going to call that studio lights. And I'm going to select my 2 studio light switches, switch 1 and 2. So basically these are smart plugs in the studio where I film, and I have 3 lights on studio lights 1. I have 3 additional lights on studio lights 2. And this gives me the ability to control all those lights with just a single switch. So we'll hit done, and we're going to copy this group name and just add that for the switch name down here and hit done. Hit done again. And of course that studio lights is connected with my Alexa app. And by the way, if you have Alexa set up as your voice assistant, then that'll be automatic. It'll copy these switches right over to that voice assistant for you. We'll hit done, and let's go back out of here, and we're back to the main screen in SmartThings. If we go all the way to the bottom, you're going to see that I have the all light switch and the studio light switch. All right, and we're going to tap and hold on this, and I'm going to move to a room, and we're going to move that to the all lights room. Okay, and then I'm going to move my studio lights into my studio room. And there's studio, move. Alright, so there you see the studio lights and studio lights 1 and 2. So studio lights now control studio lights 1 and 2. So if I turn that on, both of those lights come on. And if I turn it off, both of those lights come off. Now, as I showed you in the beginning, I can control all lights in the house with this on and off switch. What I think I also do is show you in the SharpTools app, in the SharpTools dashboard, we'll look visually at the lights turning on and off with this all light switch. To be able to do that, we need to add these newly created switches to our SharpTools app, and to do that we need to give it permission. So I'm going to go into my Smart Apps, and I'm going to go into SharpTools. All right, and in the switches, I'm going to add these newly added switches. Here's the all light switch, and let's see if we can find that studio light switch. There's the studio light switch. Hit done, next, and done. All right, that'll give permission to SharpTools to be able to access those switches. So I'm going to switch over to the SharpTools website. Okay, here we are into my web account for SharpTools. And if you haven't installed this yet, I would highly recommend you do so. There'll be a link in here in the upper right-hand corner if you want to do so. It comes with a dashboard and a roll engine, and it's something that I think you should really take advantage of. It's a real powerful web-based app that you can use to set up your dashboards, not only on your PC but also on your devices like your iPads and your phone. So it's real powerful and gives you extra control of your smart home. So we're going to go ahead and add in some switches here that we gave permission for, and to do that we're going to hit this edit. By the way, to get there I hit these 3 dots at the bottom, and then once you're into edit, you hit this plus sign to be able to add additional things. They're called things, and we're going to add this all lights switch you see right here. The check mark indicates that that's an added item. We're also going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to add the studio light switch that controls both of these switches, so we'll select those so you can see them in action. Alright, scroll down to the bottom, we'll hit done, and now you can see that here is the all light switch, which we're going to move up here into this point, and the studio lights I'll just move here at the bottom of the list so we can see that control. Actually, I have this studio lights normally up here at the top, so I'm going to move that all the way up to the top. Let's see where this spacer is. We'll get rid of this spacer and move everything back into place, and we'll move studio lights up here. Alright, then we're going to hit save. To save this configuration, we'll delete excess tiles, and then I'm going to go into here and hit full screen so that we can see pretty much everything in one screen. Okay, now for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go to this all light switch. Here you can see all these lights on. This is the bathroom fan light, our mirror lights. You can customize these tile to have different images on, like I've done here. The garage bench lights are fluorescent lights, so I changed it to a fluorescent fixture. All right, let's hit the all light switch and see what happens. So you'll see all the lights on the panel go off. These family room lights seem to take a little longer to respond, but eventually respond. So the only thing that's showing as on is the presence for my iPhone, because I am home. My wife and my daughter are not. So let's hit the all light switch again, and you'll see that all the lights are coming back on. So it's pretty cool, and takes these a little longer to respond, but they're coming on eventually. So all the lights are on. Now, as far as the studio lights, here's the studio lights 1 and 2, and I've just added these for demonstration purposes, but when I hit the studio light up here, these 2 lights are in that studio lights group, and they should turn off. So they're both off, and turn the studio lights on, and both those switches come back on. So everything's working fine. So I trust that you enjoyed this video. If this information helped you in any way, please smash that thumbs up icon. That will tell the YouTube algorithms that this was a good video and that more people should see it. If you'd like to see more of this guy, then hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. If you ding that bell, it lets YouTube know that you want to be notified anytime I upload videos. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me today. God bless, and I'll see you in the next exciting smart home automation episode.